Sales leaders, there are some really exciting trends going on in organizational design that you all need to know about as you think about the right organizational structure for your sales organization in 2020. Hopefully you've already gotten started in thinking about that because our data shows that many sales leaders wait way too long to start their planning. But let's stop for a minute. Before I share with you those 5 trends, I want to make sure we're all on the same page about what's motivating these trends. Why are these trends happening? And the big thing is the changes in buyers' purchasing habits. Think about buyers today. They are so digitally enabled, so savvy, they have so much information at their fingertips, and they are demanding a much better buying experience. And they're raising the bar on your salespeople and your salespeople's ability to engage with those buyers. And that has real profound implications to your organizational structure, the way you set up your organization so that it enables those sellers to be responsive to those buyers and to make sure that those buyers have a best-in-class buying experience. And that's what you should be thinking about. How do I set up my organizational structure in a way that allows my sellers to deliver a best-in-class buying experience, a best-in-class customer journey, so at the end of the day, they will go tell others about that incredible experience, and you'll be able to grow faster because you have not only your salespeople selling, you also have your customers that are helping sell for you. So the big trend, buyers have changed. The implication is that sellers need to change. Buyers want to be able to start small. They want to make sure that when sales comes in to talk to them, they want salespeople that can add value beyond just describing the products and services. Those salespeople have to be able to talk about the industry or have buyer insights that are differentiated. And so that means that sellers have to have that organizational structure. So the implications are clear. Your org structure has to capitalize on a couple things. The first thing is specialization. So what we're seeing in organizational structures today is higher levels of specialization. So sales leaders are breaking up the parts and the pieces of the complete buying experience and then focusing the right job roles and based on each step in that buyer's journey. And that means making sure that the value of that job role is commensurate with the value that step in that buyer's journey, that it's commensurate with that step in that buyer's journey. So for example, if the conversion rate very early in the funnel is very low, you want to make sure that the role you're putting in place, like an SDR, matches the fact that the conversion rate's low, so you can focus your salespeople on the more late stage in the funnel closing business instead of doing the early stage prospecting and that low conversion rate. So the first trend is specialization throughout the sales organization. The second organizational trend that I want to talk to you about is collaboration. Now, what's interesting about the specialization is that, as I told you before, buyers want to make sure they have a frictionless and seamless buying experience. They're not okay with being handed off from one job role to the next job role to the next job role, because that means they're having an inefficient and really not a seamless buying experience. So collaboration is the second trend because you've got to organize those specialized job roles in a way that allows them to collaborate with each other and act autonomously as a team so that they can respond to that buyer in a way that the buyer feels like they understand them, right? So it means organizing, for example, in this pod concept and making sure that you have a collection of SDRs and AMs and AEs and pre-sales, that all those job roles are focused on the same set of buyers, the same set of prospects, the same set of customers. So those buyers know they have consistency when that handoff from one job role to another is occurring. It also allows that autonomous sort of entrepreneurial drive for that group to work together to meet the needs of those buyers and customers. So that's the second trend, is collaboration. The third trend is on advocacy. Like I said before, the new game is buyers are going to start small and then will scale up if they get the value that you promise them during that buyer's journey, during that sales cycle. And that means you have to be thinking as a sales leader a lot more about customer success. Because if your customers don't succeed initially with the product that your salesperson sold them, they're not buying more. And guess what? Not only not going to buy more, they're going to cancel and tell everyone that they can talk to that they had a terrible experience and your product didn't work as advertised. On the other side, if they have a tremendous experience where your salespeople do a great job of selling them and helping them through their buyer's journey, There's a great handoff with customer success. They ultimately have a lot of success using the product. They're going to tell tons of people. So the idea is advocacy, getting your buyers to talk about you, your customers to talk about you in glowing terms, to say that was an incredible customer experience from start to finish. I got tremendous value out of the solution. I've purchased more, and I want to tell the world about how great your products and solutions are. So you have to think about customer success as a revenue growth engine. It's a mindset shift. Stop thinking about it just it as a cost center. The fourth trend that I want to talk to you about in org design for 2020 is efficiency. It's no longer okay just to keep asking for more sales resources or more field sales resources. The old playbook is you got to grow by 20%. I'm going to ask for 20% more field sales resources, which are expensive. The new way to think about it is to say, wait a minute, my digital buyers are buying differently. In fact, some of those digital buyers don't care if they even engage with a seller face-to-face. They're comfortable buying remotely. And the tools that are available to them to allow them to be able to sell remotely and buy remotely. And you as a sales leader need to take a step back and think about, how do you capitalize on those trends? You can use inside salespeople instead of field salespeople. Not for every solution, but for the less complex sales where buyers have indicated they're comfortable buying remotely, why not use inside sales? For those buyers that are comfortable buying without any human assistance, design a low-cost sales motion that uses e-commerce. So efficiency is about taking a step back and saying, how do I get more out of the resources I already have? How do I organize them better? How do I make sure the routes to market I'm using are appropriate for how that buyer wants to buy? And the fifth and final trend has to do with personalization. Buyers, like I told you, if your salespeople can't add value beyond just talking about products and pricing, they are adding no value. They're worthless, because you know what? Your buyer can get all that information on the internet. They can go to your website, they can look at pricing, they can look at product information, they can go watch videos, they can go talk to your other customers and figure out whether it's worth buying. That means your buyers have to be better at being able to give deep insights to understand an industry. Many sales leaders are going to a vertical approach to narrow down what that rep needs to learn so that they can speak in the language and see through those buyers' eyes, which is critical, as we know, to being successful. So those five are the 5 key trends for 2020 for org design. As a sales leader thinking about your 2020 organization, you should be thinking about, how do you incorporate those elements so that you are enabling your sellers to do a much better job of engaging your buyers and the way your buyers want to buy.